Struggles for power begin from the struggles for internal democratization of our parties or units where we belong when we come to power. The politics of compensational structure, the politics of deficit, the beginning from a deficit, that I had a deficit. I had a deficit before I was born, or when I was born. I found myself in a poor family. It's the politics of compensation that haunts Africa today. Many people want to take on leadership, but it's the leadership as a basis of where you came from, or the leadership has qualities.
My father bought me my first shoe in 1981 from a Mr. Onyango on the street for 60 shillings because he could not afford the butter shoes. Why am I saying this? Today, as you can see, the gentleman who did not have shoes is sitting at the high table. With the son of the founding father.
Sasa kama nitaambiwa naongea siasa, lakini I'm not, I promise. I have no such intention. But, you know, when you hear people out there, you know, they talk, oh, huyu mtu fulani, dynasty hii, sijui dynasty hii. It's not about that. Leadership is not about where you were born. It's not about where you came from. It's not about the color of your skin. It is not about your tribe. It is just about a desire to serve, a desire to do good, a desire to make a difference in the lives of people. And anybody can do that.
For a leader to be a leader, he must have qualities. Identify himself with qualities of good behavior, qualities of no corruption, qualities of no hatred, qualities of engagement, discussion with others, collective responsibility, listening to the people. These are the qualities. A leader who delivers does not need to have a background. A leader who delivers can deliver without a background of the rich or the poor. Many people in Africa seem to be misinterpreting that once you are born, you directed God to produce you in a particular family. None of us would have been where we are had we actually had a message from God where we would be born. I therefore look at this as compensational politics. Meritocracy is the answer. Meritocracy gives you the position that you yearn for. Meritocracy delivers you a position. Meritocracy gives you what you are doing for the people of Kenya or Uganda or whatever country where you are in Africa. But if you don't have these qualities, even if you are born from a family that had the whole world as theirs, then you cannot be a leader. It is therefore very important that the leaders who yearn to become leaders in Africa stop the usage of compensational politics. The politics that you want to compensate on others simply because you were poor, simply because you didn't go to a good school, simply because you don't drink in the same place where they drink, simply because you don't eat in that restaurant, simply because you don't have cars. That politics has got syndromes, traits of people who are either corrupt or have hatred or have a problem on itself. I therefore call upon you people to re-examine as Africans that wherever you come from, the background you come from, you are an African. You can deliver something for your country. You don't need to be able, you don't need to come to compensate for the lost past, because with such attitude, you will grab everything and your country will collapse. Thank you very much for listening.
Ni vipi tutaepuka ili janga la korona, maana kote duniani linazidi kusambaa, ni wengi wametuacha.
Yo guys, it's your boy DJ Euphoric here. So sad coronavirus is here with us. Na sisi wase tunaishi na disability, we have to make sure maze protect ourselves. Clean your assistive devices, especially those parts that zina come in contact with your body, kama armrests, brakes and wheel rims. Disinfect using the approved disinfectants from the Ministry of Health.
Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright.
Hi, my name is Christine Arepo. I'm a mother to Elsa Wanjiko. Elsa Wanjiko has a special need. She has cerebral palsy. During this time of COVID-19, everybody is feeling anxious and fearful. As a mother of child with special need, I'd like to encourage all mothers and caregivers that we follow the government directives of wearing a mask every time we leave our houses, wash our hands with clean running water, we sanitize our hands and also sanitize the equipment that our child uses, like the wheelchair, whenever we want to take them out. And whenever we want to take our children out for a walk, we should put them on mask and also put ourselves on mask. Stay safe. Komesha corona.
Hi guys, my name is Maureen Dinda, and amidst this coronavirus pandemic, I'd like to urge everyone, including people with disabilities, to always wear masks in public and to maintain social distancing and use of sanitizers. To the people with albinism, I'd like to tell you that use of sanitizers has no effect or harm on your skin, so don't get afraid. Stay at home, stay safe. Komesha corona.
Niaje watu wangu wa nguvu, hapa mimi naitwa Deno. Ningependa kuwashoe kwamba corona si mzaha. Corona iko bana. Corona iko kwa neighborhood. Manze jaribu kaa home. Na kama iwezekani lazima utoke nje kama mimi. Make sure uko kwa mask. Make sure unawea hiyo mask kila mahali. Kwanza sana ukiwa in a public place. Make sure uko kwa mask vizuri sana. Na kama unatumia guide kama mimi, make sure umemhold hapa kwa shoulder, kwa sababu huwezi mhold kwa elbow, kwa sababu hapo ndipo tunatumia ku sneeze. Sasa make sure that ume stay safe, make sure that ume sanitize. Corona ni real manze, cheza clean.
Tuepuke makundi, sura sishiki misi na budi, tusisambaze hivi virusi.
Hello friends, my name is Ben. I'd like to urge my friends, especially the deaf community, that we follow the guidelines given by the government in these times of corona. Don't forget, wash your hands with clean running water. Also, use masks when in public. If you don't have water, make sure you sanitize your hands. Also, keep social distance. Together, we can win corona. Stay safe, stay at home.
Epuka corona. Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Epuka corona. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright. Epuka corona. Sanitize, osha vizuri mikono yako. Epuka corona. Quarantine and it's gonna be alright. Epuka corona.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and the symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you Africans and African heads of state, wherever you are, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, to understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising. Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us have a peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much.
I want to begin by first and foremost thanking the African Union, and all the African nations for their support and their belief in Kenya being able to advocate the African cause, the cause of Pan-Africanism, the cause of peace, the cause of global solidarity, the call to multilateralism. Kenya's story is one that believes and trusts that together we are stronger. One that believes that through democracy, through respect for human life, and through unity, more can be achieved than individually. We thank the African continent for supporting us in our bid. And we thank all our friends across the world who have joined us and supported us. Today is a day for me personally, on my own behalf and on behalf of the government and the people of Kenya, to assure you that a vote for Kenya is a vote for peace. A vote for Kenya is a vote for global solidarity. A vote for Kenya is a vote for multilateralism. A vote for Kenya is that even the smallest voice shall be heard as the largest and most powerful voice. Let's work together. Let's build global harmony. Let's move forward in our march for peace. Let's move forward in our march for the sustainable use of the resources that our continent, our globe, is endowed with. And let's move forward and ensure that no one is left behind.
My name is Bishop Dr. John Warari. I come to you to give you hope. 80% of those who have the infection are recovering. So we must not lose hope. Follow the instructions of the Ministry of Health. Simple instructions. 1, we have been told to sanitize, to clean our hands as often as possible. As you wash your hands, do it for about 20 seconds. That one will keep away and destroy the virus that could have been in your hands. It is important for us not to use our hands in greeting each other. For more information, kindly dial 719 and you will get help, or you can go to your phone and press *719# and you will get more information. Komesha Corona.
Fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in the future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.
Mi naitwa Ivy Brenda Cherotich na niko 26 years old. So I was the first patient to be confirmed with COVID-19, which is hiyo ndio disease ni iko caused by coronavirus. So I came out to the Ministry of Health and I let them know that I was concerned because I had shown symptoms of COVID-19. Na hakuna mtu alini pressure like go forward. Ni mimi tu niliamua as a responsible Kenyan nifanye nione as in juni kazi yangu as a responsible Kenyan kukuja mbele na kuambia government I think this is what is happening and you might have to test me. Na niko happy because waliamua kunitake seriously, wakanitest and that's when wakapata niko positive. So after wakanipata niko positive walinipea treatment, walini support sana and niko very thankful to all of them for what they did. Kitu nataka kuwashow ni kuwa hii kitu ni manageable na ni treatable. If you think you have it, don't be afraid. Usiogope ati watu watasema nini or
Good morning, Africa. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for another show of Good Morning, Africa. This time, we are looking at the People's Court. In the People's Court this morning, we shall be looking at the Anti-Corruption Amendment Bill of Kenya. For many years, with me in the studio, first let me get my panel. Miriam Ogutu, our senior anchor, right in the studios down in Nairobi. Thank you very much.
Good morning to you, Doctor, and good morning to our viewers.
This is the Political Command Center of Radio Punchline Africa and Television Punchline Africa Television. Both of them are on live. If you want to hear the music, you go the other side. The real word is here. Next is on the panel is our investigative man himself, who should be investigated first. Investigative man, a humble man, has no other beginnings other than being humble. Daniel Wesonga. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Matsanga and Miriam and our esteemed viewers across the country, as well as the continent of Africa and the entire globe. Good morning.
The Shakespearean man, you can hear for yourselves what I mean by the man is real. It's real. Thank you very much. Let's go. First, this show intends to, if you want to call us, Miriam will tell you the number to call us. If you are outside Kenya, the number is +254 795 638 145. Nairobi, Kenya. But we shall take your call. Nini feature from next week, we shall be giving you the number for our identity number. If you want to talk to us, you send your details. Punch in, we shall allow you to come in and then take part in the discussion.
And that is through
That's
Zoom.
how we are going to, yes. We are going to give you our ID number. You come in for discussion. If you can sustain the heat within the round table. Thank you very much. Viewers, this is the People's Court. The anti-corruption laws in Kenya. For many years, Kenya has been looking for a way, a solution to fight corruption. Corruption in Kenya has been rampant. Year in, year out, President Uhuru Kenyatta has tried his level best. But obstacles have not come, not because they don't have the resource, the will to fight corruption. The will could be there, but if one of the three things are missing, corruption cannot be fought. What are the three things then? Number one, you must have a suspect. When you get a suspect, you must have a good investigative branch. Number three, you must have a good law. Allegedly investigated, tried, sentenced. Three components if you want to fight corruption. In China, they have only two. Alleged, trial. They don't have investigations. because the Chinese do the investigations before they come to arrest you. So the next stage for you in China is arrest and a bullet. It has deterred the Chinese not to touch anybody's money in the world. Tell me where you have found China stealing money. The guys who came to do the road here, have they stolen any money? They come with their hard cash and the money. But because the law is, there is no law there. There is the one law straightforward. Umeshikwa, pesa ulipatiwa, bullet, kopa, naingia kwa tumbo yako. Na kichwa kubwa hiyo kichwa, that big head, that takes people's money here. You know, pop, pop, Quisha, firing squad. That's what they do in China. Where else in Africa is corruption not tolerated? Rwanda. In Rwanda, I'm giving you this study, case studies. In Rwanda, if you have been suspected of corruption, you don't get bail. An economic crime. And for Kenya, yesterday, we talked about corruption cases. For Kenya to fight corruption, President Uhuru Kenyatta, the parliament, the people of Kenya, the lawyers, the judges must agree that the law is very bad. The law of Kenya must change. And that law must change to imprison people. I want to take examples. Miriam comes in to give me several examples and the stats, figure, data. Yapana ya mchezo, nataka data. How many people have we detained? How much money have we recovered? Where is the money recovered? What has it done? We have a new way of speaking now. It's either do we tell you or you hate us. That's the attitude. After all, this television station is the only one going to remain. You know, everybody is packing up. You better get used that you will come where Matanga opened. People were laughing at us. Miriam, we are home. We rather eat nothing, but we are here. So we tell you the truth now. If you steal in Rwanda, can somebody tell me the thieves? Where are the thieves who dug a hole in Thika and reached the bank and opened the bank and took 50 million? Was it 50 million, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yes. You see, Kenyans themselves don't even remember. You remember Wesonga? Mm-hmm. How much was it? 50 million shillings?
It was sometimes back last
year. It was.
Year.
Where are those guys? They are not in industrial area. They are not in committee. They went up back to eat the money. They went back. Kenya is a place where you steal on Friday, you are arrested on Friday. You tell your wife to prepare clothes for to go to sessions on Tuesday. You take baby, flight number 1020, K2, flight, baby, fanya bikini, ubeba bikini, beba blouse, tukesi, sijui nini. Mama, tayarisha hiyo, we shall be leaving. You have stolen now. And one of the relatives of the thieves comes to court on Monday with the stolen money. When they say bail is 1 million, he says, yes, I've been selling chicken. Chicken. You know, Kenyans know how to tell us how they make money out of chicken. This chicken grows only in Kenya. I tried the chicken farm in 1983. It collapsed. One morning I found all the birds were dead, looking down like this. And that was the only investment we had just come from exile. You know that exile kwetu huko Tanzania, tulitoka huko. Huko Tabora watu tulikuwa huko, tulikuwa na mashida kubwa. Nilijaribu kuku, nilikataa. I'd just bought my first car in 1980. After I've been given the first scooter by the late President Milton Obote. One of the best scooters. You know, when people see me like this, they think I cannot ride a bicycle scooter. I don't need to be told. The Songa should know this. I'm an expert. I bought my first car in 1980. Fiat Mia Fiore. Green in color. Yangu. My father said, wewe. Say yes, itakumaliza hii gari. Sema don't worry. Tunatoka Tanzania bwana. Juzi. Lazima nikuwe na gari kidogo hapa ndio watu uko mjiji wajue. Tulitoka zamani, tulikuja, tumerudi. We have returned. That's another story which Miriam does not. You know, at times they don't want to interrogate me. Put up a show of unfiltered. Ask the story. The viewership will be 200. Because mitu mingi sana, sisi tunatembelea mbali. Tunatoka mbali bwana, mama. So, corruption in Kenya,
yes,
must be fought. How do you fight it when the law is faulty? You can't arrest a person who is going to be bailed on Monday, return on Tuesday, fly to Seychelles with the wife. If you can ask, where are the people of NYS2, that beautiful PS, ule Omoro sijui, unani huyo, Bogo, where is she? Where is the case? Very proud and arrogant. Oh, I need my money. Was it your money? Where? Where are they? We want our watu waingie ndani. 5 years Maraga has been telling us, give money. Hakuna mtu tumefunga. Walukeleo utasikia wanamwambia lipa. The law must change. Enda.
Yes.
Waluke anaweza toka. He will go and sit in parliament. He will make an appeal. I've already told you the technicalities.
Yes, indeed. And I think...
so,
yes.
As I finish, what is wrong with Kenya's war on corruption? Can I answer in a nutshell? Is the bad criminal justice system. That's it. If this amendment, this one here now you are talking. Now you are talking. Kama tunanusu, kunusu, to smell anything. That you ate, you have one half chicken, one kuku. Uliiva kuku moja. Kwanza you step aside. That's what democracy is.
Yes, and Doctor, this
in
is
Britain.
Yes.
A judge, a minister, MP. If you drive your car near the red district, usiku, paparazzi anakufuata, anapiga picha. The paparazzi takes a photograph of your car near the red district where white girls stay and do service party of Mr. Kiunjuri. You know, Kiunjuri is also Koinange Street service provider. So that service medium, we must bring in some sense of humor. That is, if your car is seen in that red district, and they take a picture and it is tomorrow on the Sun newspaper or Guardian, in the name of God,
should be gone.
You gone. You remember Mira, those who are fans of Chelsea. I don't know whether Wesonga supports Chelsea.
I'm a Manchester fan, Doc.
Okay, sorry, unfortunately the worst team. But in the matches, if you supported Chelsea, a man called Mira, his car got spoiled. He was seen after leaving Parliament, a horror minister. After leaving Parliament, Google him, Google now.
Yes, and he was forced to resign because
yes.
it raised some moral issues. And Doctor, I think this is a conversation we've had here for a while now because the judiciary has been noted as being the weakest link when it comes to the war against corruption. And so there has been times that some cases that have been taken to court have been, the culprits have been left to go scot-free because of the technicalities in regards to the law that has been there that is not watertight. And this is a conversation we've had, and especially last year when we're looking at when we are having conversation about corruption and how to win the war against corruption, I think you were very clear, Doctor, and you have reiterated there that the criminal law needs to change. And I see in these proposed amendments here, let me perhaps go through it. I'll be reading from page 4 of the Daily newspaper. Yesterday they carried this story, and months after the judiciary ruled that the lawless Nuva rich who cannot explain the source of their wealth will have no protection of the law. A new bill before the National Assembly seeks to tighten the noose on the cartels, the state and public officers, and to enforce Chapter 6 of the Constitution. So we shall look at Chapter 6, that is leadership and integrity, and see how that is, and what right now a lot of people don't even meet the criteria when it comes to Chapter 6, that is the leadership and integrity law there. So, Doctor, is it about time? We've seen a lot of public officials here who cannot even account for a quarter of the wealth that they have accumulated, because a lot of them have gotten it in very ill-gotten and also very dubious ways. So is it about time that we changed some of these laws, even as we continue to interrogate these proposed law amendments?
It is time. The entire Kenyan criminal justice system needs an overhaul. Kenya is a good country, but Kenya is bogged down because of structural challenges. The structure of challenges which can produce what we call structural conflict. You can easily produce a structural conflict out of this corruption. You have seen corruption has brought enmity between the deputy president and the president. It's a structural challenge. It's one of the structures. You know, if you don't fight it, it brings enmity, accusation, allegations. And then those allegations go on building on, building on, building on, and building on, and building on. And where do we end? Where do we end? A conflict. A structure which is wrongly based in the Constitution can create you a conflict. One of the structures that causes every government in Kenya to have problems for men to open up their chests, lie on the tarmac that they are demonstrating is corruption. If there was no corruption in the IEBC, would this country have banned? If there was no corruption in 2007, would this country have gone to losing 1,300 people? If you look east or west, Miriam, Maurice.
Yes.
If you look.
All right. Maybe, yes. So maybe
Thank you very
Daniel,
much.
yes, Daniel, perhaps you finish
Yes.
as Dr. Works on the technicality from his side there. So are these laws that seeks to, the proposed laws that we shall look at in some of the, amendments that are contained in this law, is it about time that we changed our criminal justice law?
Yes, I think, Miriam, corruption has been quite a very big factor in that has bedeviled our national progress as a country. And a lot of our taxpayers' money has been looted, and the country has incurred massive losses through loss of public funds, through corruption deals and all that. And as Kenya plans to progress forward, and as President Uhuru Kenyatta plans to leave a legacy, and of course, one of the key things that have come out clearly in his legacy is the fight against corruption. So it is very, very much in order that we do have these new amendments that will bring justice to all those who are convicted of corruption. And of course, our law says that a person who is convicted of an offense of corruption or economic crime and who was involved in management of public company or institution or a state organ that has suffered pecuniary loss or as a result of corruption or any other economic crime should be personally held liable. So there's no issue of scapegoating. There's no issue of meandering and circumventing and apportioning blame. People now should be forced to take responsibility of their actions. If you are found culpable of committing any corruption or any economic crime, the law should catch up with you as soon as possible. And that one should be done through our courts. The court system needs to be streamlined. All those judges who take part in corruption deals. We saw the other day there's a magistrate, a Kiambu magistrate.
Sorry, Daniel. We shall get to that because
Okay.
I want us to just focus on not lose a sight of some of these things that have been contained in this law. And you mentioned there about time, because time has been a factor. A lot of these cases will go on forever and ever and ever. We'll never see the end of it. But now, in the new measures contained in the statute law miscellaneous amendment bill 2020, and which is signed by Aden Duale, the ousted leader of majority, the government now wants all the cases touching on corruption to be determined within 2 years from the time of filing. How will this help in fighting corruption?
Yes,
because time is of the essence.
Yes, I believe that is one step in the right direction, because we've been seeing these cases taking ages and ages. And in some instances, you find that files disappear mysteriously. And of course, this is due to corruption in our courts. So if they can put a time limit on corruption cases, then that one is going to strengthen the arm of judiciary, and it's going to frog-march them into making sure that corruption cases are given a higher priority, and culprits who are found guilty embezzling public coffers are brought to justice as soon as possible. So it's a step in the right direction, Miriam, and I fully support such an amendment.
All right, Doctor, reducing these cases to be determined within 2 years, how will this help in the fight against corruption in this country?
First, you must have capacity to execute them within 2 years. You can have them in 1 year, even 1 day. But if you have not changed the laws, it's useless. First, change the law. Item number 1 is change the law. If you have been caught, suspected of corruption, whether you'll be proved guilty or not guilty, no bail. No bail for 2 months or 6 months. I don't know what they have suggested there. If they have not suggested anything, because you are giving every Kenyan bail, the giving of bail to Kenyans encourages them to go and steal. They steal and then go back and say, I have stolen, I'm coming back. Keep that money. Yes. Don't worry. But let's change the law. Change the law. Change it. And make sure that once you have taxed the money, you allow the DPP to investigate and the DCI thoroughly, so that when you put the file in court, it takes only 3, 4, 5, 6 days.
So what you're saying, Doctor, because they're saying in part of the amendments that are contained in this proposed law, they're saying the corruption cases should not go more than 2 years. They should be determined in a period of 2 years, because we've known for a fact, it is a fact in this country, there are cases that have gone forever and we've never seen the end of it, from 10 years ago, from so many years ago. And they defeat the rule of justice in this manner. So the time factor here, the 2 years, within these 2 years, will this work to help in the fight against corruption in the country?
I've told you it will not work.
Okay, why not?
I'm honest. If they have not changed the mechanisms.
Which mechanisms? What mechanisms? Perhaps you could help in
the mechanism is the law. The law. You want to do it in 2 years. But what about the sentencing, the investigation, the prosecution, admissibility? Those are the few things that make up a case. Proof. Allow the DCI to have access. Allow the investigations to be done. But you cannot have investigations being done when the suspect has been given bail, is outside. Remember the chairman of the Land Commission in Kenya, who stole the files, broke in the office, organized the goons. They went in the office, in the land office, stole the files. Professor Sezuri. And then turned up in the morning. He said the files were written. Where are the files now? Ask.
And I see part of the proposed law, the amendments, they have covered that, and we shall come to that. That any officer who has been accused should not be allowed to access the office because they can interfere. So we've seen that. Yes, it has been included. Yes.
Yes. I think make my point very clear and loud it to the people.
All right, go ahead.
My point is this. One, whether 2 years, 1 day, as long as the type, the methodology, the method of conduct is not there. You can, 2 years, yes, people will people will come back. You must give the investigating bodies ample time. So the suspect must remain in bail, in prison, not home. So it means if they have not put it in this amendment, then we are wasting time. Have you seen it in the amendment? Because they say why they are dodging, whoever is doing this is dodging the main pillar of the basic right, the human right of a Kenyan is a right to bail.
Innocent until
you cannot fight corruption, which is rampant, when you have a very bad law of right to bail.
Bail conditions.
Why Ethiopia? Why are there no thieves in Ethiopia? Even those who steal a phone in Ethiopia are not there. You can leave your phone like this iPhone. They will call you. Why? They have put mechanisms how a phone can be found. In 1 hour, in 1 day, in 2 days, even without any, even 20 minutes. So even if you put 2 years that you must finish the case, what I'm meaning here, Miriam, is if the way of finishing the case will end up with the suspect going home, you do not have fought corruption.
Because now it's easier for maybe some law enforcers or some people who are involved in the investigations. We've known some characters who have also helped in abating the law. They might say, we did not have enough time, so this is what we have in the period that we were given. And so some of these cases, they'll continue to be, to have a watertight, case there to answer. So they might be they might win on a technicality there. So also something else in this proposed law. For years, state and public officers have been accused of operating offshore accounts and hiding their wealth abroad in tax havens. Now, the proposed law now makes it a crime for such officers to operate foreign bank accounts without the approval of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. More so, state officers who operate such accounts will be required to submit annual statements to EACC. A failure to submit the accounts will attract a jail term of 5 years or a fine not exceeding 5 million or both. And now, Doctor, shall we see a lot of our monies from out there coming back to the country?
How will you see it?
Will this deter?
It will deter, but there must be. How do you find that money? How do you find that money? You must go and close one loophole. You close the loophole by restricting no Kenyan should have an account abroad. Because the civil servant will give money to Matsanga to go on the bank with a relative. Still the money will be abroad. We must go back and say no Kenyan should have a foreign bank account, except one that can accept dollars in Kenya. Challenge there. Have you got my point, you people? Because if you say no civil servant should have a foreign account, imagine Miriam, you're a civil servant. You give me your friend to go on the bank for you.
It happens. Very possible.
And you will be checking your account through data, email. My money is still there. And you pay me for servicing your account. Would you have served the purpose? So as we debate this bill, let them try to seal all the loopholes.
Daniel.
Yes, I think Dr. Matsanga has broken it down quite efficiently. And the thing here is not the process, but the ultimate goal of bringing them to justice. And of course, if we still have situations where the DPP is not emboldened, the prosecution, the investigators, the DCI, are not given a fair playground to be able to exhaust on terms of fishing evidence and building up a very strong case, then even if it's done in 2 years, then ultimately these cases gonna be collapsing every now and then. So justice in the long run will not be achieved if that is what Dr. Matsanga goes by. And I totally agree with him. We have, apart from maybe looking at this time factor, we also have to get into the substance of it and be able to get everything quite tightened up in terms of making sure that the DPP is given enough time to get the evidence, and they are also given favorable laws that will enable them be able to get enough evidence to build up a strong case, and as well also put up measures and seal the loophole that will lead to interference of the case by those ones who are prosecuted. And I think this has been the long-standing impediment. Someone is prosecuted for corruption, but once they get out on a bond, they go mess up with the witnesses, and the case collapses just like that. And I think, Miriam, if you've been on Kenyan scene, there's been this cliche of people saying, in Kenya, you only have to steal enough money to cater for your lawyers, your bond, and maybe at times also to bribe a judge.
No, you
and
buy a judge.
Once,
they say when you have money, you just need to buy a judge and you're good to go. You don't even need like a good lawyer. But also, yes, and I understand. And I think you mentioned that
once you're done with that, you will be free to enjoy your loot. So that has been the perception. So if we can have legislations and laws that can look into that and be able to limit such extreme impunity, then that will work effectively.
Yes, and the body that is mandated to handle this is the EACC, because such officials will be expected to submit annual statements of those offshore accounts to the EACC. So there we see EACC being given more powers there. So, and another thing that is contained in this proposed law: state officers who fail to sign the Leadership and Integrity Code risk losing their positions. And now the bill proposes that a person can apply to the High Court to invalidate the assumption of office of a person who fails to sign the code. First of all, there are things that are called witch hunt in this country. Second thing, abuse of some rights. This, as much as I think this is a very double-edged sword, because it says that very open-ended, that any person can go to court. Any person can go to court and can apply to the High Court to invalidate the assumption of office of any public official who has not signed and who has not met the Leadership and Integrity Code. So it's a double-edged sword. I don't know what you see from this, what you make of this proposal.
First of all, that one is a double-edged sword. People will allege, will create chaos. It will not work. All this is of wrong English. This is what's of English.
Let's just look at it, Doctor. Give us your London English. Yes.
People who propose that we talk about this law, let them listen to me now. East or West, we can sit here and talk until tomorrow morning. Kenya's problem, and let President Uhuru Kenyatta hear. Don't this English you have written is useless. It's useless. There is one thing to do. Change. Miriam, change the criminal justice system. Full stop. Create a court economic crimes court with a big signpost, like the one in Rwanda, the one in Kampala, on a hill called Nakawa. I think Wesonga has been to Kampala with his Mercedes. No, his BMW. You know,
Yeah,
you have seen that Nakawa Anti-Corruption Court. Ethiopia, at the Ethiopia Anti-Corruption Court, big signpost. Everybody fears in Uganda. People don't care if you take them to Supreme Court, because Supreme Court does not sentence. Supreme Court nullifies or leaves you in Luzira. But if you tell a Ugandan you are going to Nakawa, he will go to Lake Victoria and drown. In Rwanda, it's similar. What have they done? I teach comparative politics, strategy, comparative law, Commonwealth law. Listen to me. A new poll in Judea just changed everything. Get the suspect. First thing, somewhere charge sheet. Tell the suspect, sorry. Investigations will take place. Your bail will be reviewed after 3 months. Ingia wapi? Ndasoria. Remand. Let's expand more prisons. Yeah, that's a criminal justice system. What is a criminal justice system? I wanted you people to ask me. The criminal justice system involves police, judiciary, prison, and the other elements that touch crime. You don't change on the one. Expand the prison where you will throw these guys. Have a category of prisons. Build another prison. Have you ever heard of a new prison built? I grew up here in the Kamiti.
Yes.
Kamiti, Miriam, you grew up here in Kamiti.
I grew up near Kamiti. I know Kamiti very well. I went to high school in Kamiti High School, yeah.
Yes, it's congested. Expand that. Remove the court from Maraga. Let Maraga be the Chief Justice. But there is a special division that he doesn't interfere with. It can also even squeeze it. His height can go down a bit. To squeeze him. Bring Maraga in this court.
So you form another arm of the government. That's what you're proposing outside of judiciary. How will that work?
It's not an arm of the government. It is within the judiciary.
Okay, so that means it will be under Maraga.
Yes, the parliament say there is a special court. Special courts can be made out of the constitution without touching the main constitution. The Chief Justice has powers to set up a special division of the High Court to specifically deal with lower crime, higher crime, or economic crimes of whatever magnitude. So let's set up. In doing so, you will have finished everything you want on planet Earth.
In regards to corruption.
Right. Yes. Then, who is to investigate? There is a lot of confusion between the Chief the DCI, and
the DPP,
and
the EAC,
and the EACC. Take powers. Our criminal code entitles the DCI to be the investigative arm. Police are supposed to investigate you for corruption anywhere by the nature of your constitution. Now we have one body, one board, and a waffle. We have mixed it. That after DCI has done, then DCI sends the file. Then the file is, the delay is there. The DP at the file, he can say, no, this is not very good. So, remove that red tape.
And we've seen that confusion, the office of the DPP and the DCI at loggerheads in the recent past. And, Kenyans were beginning to get worried there, but I hope that we don't get to see that because...
And to add on that, Miriam, to your point, you see the point, what has that brought? What has that brought?
A confusion.
Structural what? Conflict.
Yes, there has been a lot of confusion.
Between the DCI,
and the DPP.
The EACC, and
the DPP, the office. Yes.
Because of bad law, because of criminal justice system, the DPP, DCI, the director of EACC, they are quarreling. Who should be the one to arrest? Why should you investigate me when I have investigated?
Yeah, that needs to be clear. You're right, Doctor, on that. Daniel, the same question we see here. The part of the proposed law that state officers who fail to sign the leadership and integrity code risk losing their positions. The bill further proposes that any person can apply to the High Court to invalidate the assumption of office of a person who fails to sign the code. What is the danger contained in this proposal here?
I don't think there is any danger because any applicant to public office is open for public scrutiny, and of course that goes in line with the matters of integrity. So if someone applies maybe a plea to reject maybe an appointment of a public officer due to one reason or another, it is upon the court now to prove his innocence or their innocence before he can be able to be given a green light and be able to get the appointment. So I think that one will rest with the court. But as Dr. Matsanga said, we really have to make sure that our courts are very clean. We have very clear channels of justice in the court system so that it doesn't become a center of disputes and maybe where public trust is very low. On that issue, I think it is quite a good law, but checks and balances, of course, have to be made to ensure that it is implemented in the right way. But of course, for public office, you have to be scrutinized, and anyone can lodge such an injunction.
So also, the Leadership and Integrity Act is also set for change to enforce Chapter 6 of the Constitution. The EACC will now verify the contents of self-declaration and advise Parliament or the panel constituted for shortlisting of persons for appointment as state officers on the financial integrity. We've seen Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution on leadership and integrity. It is something that has been there. But when you look at our leaders, a lot of, especially the politicians or the people who sometimes are appointed to these public offices, they grossly fail to meet the threshold of Leadership and Integrity Act. I don't know if it's by design or because of I've not understood, because that is, our constitution is very clear. So now what will change in this amendment after the what? Should we not insist on enforcing implementation of the Chapter 6?
Yes, Miriam, I think in order to build a truly civilized society, we need not a democratic government, but militarized kind of government, where we do check every individual and scrutinize their past transactions before we can be able to award them a public office. Just to give an example, when you look at the previous cabinet, we had people like Rashid Mohammed, who was a cabinet secretary for sports, but he was a man under a lot of investigation, ranging on various crimes that he committed, both economic and all the other. But I won't talk about that. But when you look at it, that is how messed up our leadership is. And of course, this one now brings in a new breath to the leadership to ensure that all those who will be selected to join a leadership position have to be above the bar, and we should not allow leaders whose image or reputation has been tainted to assume office. So I think these proposals are good, but now it's upon those ones who will be implementing them to make them into reality, because if we can always draw very good laws, but if we cannot make sure that they take flight, then it will remain as good as it is on paper, but not in reality.
And that is not correct, or whatever information that you give as when you make the self-declaration, when you want to be appointed in a public office, then the EACC will have to verify that information first. Can we trust Dr. Ethics and Anti-Corruption to do that and do a thorough job at that?
How did the Governor Sonko arrive there?
He just mentioned Rashid Echesa there, so that's
Sonko.
Were they not supposed to be doing these things before, or I'm confused?
Governor Sonko arrived there. You see, you can go back, forward, left. People like Emo Haji Abdi are saying, I'm introducing a police state. No. Mr. Mo Abdi, you live in developed countries. You have lived in China. You have lived in Moscow. You have lived in Switzerland. There are structures, social structures there that you can revert to, check corruption. It is very difficult for somebody to bribe a police in Britain. You can't bribe a police officer when he has stopped you when you have drunk alcohol and you're driving a car. Then he says, step out. Then you bribe him. In Kenya or Uganda, it's very easy. You can bribe him and then you continue driving. In Britain, no. You leave there the keys, whether you have $2 million inside the car. It is, whether it is night, whether it is snow. Mnakimbia na hawa na miguu hiyo. The vehicle will be towed. In fact, if you are lucky, you will find it. If not, wataweka sticker. But here you can bribe. So when you talk about the police state, it's not a police state. Changing the criminal justice system is not creating a police state. How do you give a thief bail on Monday who stole money on Friday? Where are the thieves who stole money in Thika, who dug a tunnel, went and took the money? Have they been sentenced? No. Where is that exhibit?
You mean the money?
Hey.
That you'll never find.
That's a criminal justice system you must change.
Yes.
When you get this money exhibit, for example, we have had bank haste. People follow the van for the bank. But the money that they get there, where does it go? Miriam,
good question.
Muulize maswali.
A while back, we had a scenario in Naivasha where police were pursuing 34 million shillings, which had been stolen by some thugs. And once they got the money and apprehended the thugs, the money on its way back to Nairobi, it disappeared along the way. And no one ever traced where it went. So that is how crooked we are.
And speaking of that, also, now Section 14 of the Bribery Act is also said to be amended to allow any person, and not just holding a position of responsibility, to report any suspected case of bribery to EACC. Previously, only state and public officers and those holding positions of responsibility within private firms were lawfully required to make such reports to the Anti-Graft Commission. But now they're saying anybody can go and report any case of bribery. Are you seeing a situation where Kenyans will come out and actually cooperate in this regard?
That's witch hunt.
Witch hunt.
That is open.
When I see bribery, I can go report to the EACC. Now I've been given that responsibility. Are Kenyans going to cooperate?
We are now here. Okay. Thank you. Stop there, Miriam. Because the people wanted us to talk. MPs are watching. Mr. Aden Kein, Secretary for the Parliament, I told him to watch. Let me tell you, the moment you start that, you are bringing witch hunt, which is going to end the same fight without you having any
results.
Recently, the alcohol, which was confiscated in Thika, found it. There was a hole in the warehouse where the alcohol disappeared.
And was found where?
We don't know.
It was never traced. Yeah, I remember.
And yet we have officers with AK-47 with a magazine loaded, guarding the house. If you don't change the criminal justice system, that once you are caught, how you tell me, how does a chaser, that thief, that tall guy, go to get 2 guns back? Are we all right? You know, a chaser is gonna finish all these witnesses. You will find them in 60 feet. You have given him back the guns. The court is the bad criminal justice system. You know what? Anybody involved in that case, ako kwa shida. Kama wanakupata, you are finished. A court returns exhibits. How? I've lived in Britain. More Abdi has lived in Britain and Norway and some places. He lives in Norway. In Norway, if they arrest you with $1 million, that $1 million is kept in prison until the case is disposed. If you have won, they will return your money. But they don't give you the money in the middle of a trial. You say, go and return the Range Rover. Who bought the magistrate to return the Range Rover? Then on top of that, they know this is a threatening guy who threatens everybody. Anatembea na pistol yake iko nje. Watu wajue ako na pistol. Yet he was not even trained. He's a coward. Mnamrudishia 2 pistols. Wewe sasa enda kwa Facebook uzungumze. Atakugonga.
Daniel, are Kenyans going
to look at that? Yes. We have lost, in this case of the fraudulent arms, we've lost a younger man called Kenele. What is his name? Sergeant Kenel. The man has gone now. People have forgotten about him. People have forgotten about him. They are now more concerned with Mr. Brain. That the Minister of Sports, my foot. Minister of Sports of Fifth.
Former minister. He's no longer minister. But Daniel, do you see Kenyans cooperating in regards to reporting matters, bribe and corruption?
I feel so sad when you have boys from Luya community like this one here from Bungoma. They are educated and then you appoint a Nikopu, a Quank, a Tani, Quizoling. Niongeze, you want me to add more? Niko na Kiingereza kali, which he doesn't know how to spell Quizoling. So how will he accuse me in court? Does he know that Quizoling means what? Oh, criminal justice system revamp. I agree.
With more Haji Abdi. Daniel.
Yes,
yes.
Now he's agreeing. He's agreeing with me. Don't think like this is Somalia, Mogadishu. You know, he's always hitting me on Mogadishu.
All right, but we are in Kenya now, Daniel. Are Kenyans going to cooperate?
This revamp.
Yes.
So Maraga has quietly gone on leave. He's not there. You see, the letter came out and the people thought it was fake. Do you hear of Maraga again?
Yes, Miriam. So I think we need to have proper channels which will ensure that that kind of law works effectively without probably victimizing either of the side that is involved in any corruption case. So we need to put up proper structures to ensure that those ones who go before those organs that are meant to fight corruption are legitimate and that their concern can be backed up with evidence, just to make sure that we follow the due diligence and we be able to build a stronger case in terms of fighting corruption, rather than maybe just create more chaos in those bodies that are supposed to be fighting corruption. So we need proper guidelines, proper channels in which Kenyans can do that. And of course, if that is put in place, then I believe Kenyans can be able to come out there and be able to report corruption cases. But also, going back, Dr. Matsanga has talked about a very important thing. The law does not really provide the preconditions where someone can feel comfortable to go and report a corruption case, because you find in most cases, these people who are implicated of corruption are given bails and they come out of remand, and they will go out there, meddle with the case, intimidate the witnesses and all that, put all kind of pressure and threats on the witnesses. So you find that people do not have that courage. They are not emboldened to come on board and be able to present a case against someone like that if he's a powerful individual. So we need, first of all, to fix the law to ensure that whatsoever happens, these people who are coming to give evidence of corruption or maybe reporting corruption,
they feel protected. All right.
Yeah, and they feel like no one can be able to intimidate them in one way or another. Okay. So, and that one can only be done if these suspects are kept in custody of the police, and also we come up with a stronger witness protection procedures and laws. So, all right. That is my submission.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of which, the EACC will also get new powers to seek expert orders from the High Court, barring appointed state officers under investigation or who have been charged with corruption or any offense of economic crime from accessing a public office or exercising specific powers. This is where investigations will have established grounds to suspect that the state officer is likely to interfere with evidence, witnesses, or conceal documents. Now, the move will have a deep ramifications since state officers in Kenya, including the president, deputy president, cabinet secretaries, MPs, judges, and magistrates, and members of independent commissions. So this might have ramifications going that deep. But we shall come to that part in a short while. But this seems to be addressing some of the concerns that you've raised here. Now, EACC will have powers to bar any public officer who has been accused to access office, or should they deem that they might be a threat to the witnesses or things like this. So they actually is part of the law there will seek to address these matters. Doctor, will it be effective?
Miriam, we seem to have run because we have another show.
Yes, no, it's okay.
Yeah, we seem to have overrun, but
we started a bit late, so
yes,
because it's important. Yes.
Let me summarize this way. All that is very good, but to go back to my main point, allow also the president to be able to appoint the Chief Justice. Amend that law where the president has powers. You see the current conflict between the president and the Chief Justice comes because you cannot be Republican judge under Democratic Party president. You cannot be Obama cannot have a Republican Chief Justice because Obama will not serve his term properly. In fact, the Chief Justice of United States could finish him. So let's change. Since this is a big discussion, I think let's just say part one, tumalize hapo tushike hiyo kingine ya business. Because Miriam, that's my request.
All right.
This is a huge interrogation.
But doctor, before we finish, something very interesting here, maybe I just throw it out and then we finish with that. In order to enforce Chapter 6 of the Constitution on integrity, the Committee of the National Assembly will now have powers over the President and the Deputy President and Cabinet Secretaries, the Speaker and the Attorney General, and members of the independent offices and commissions. Now, the DP was previously excluded from the clause that only had the President, the Speaker, AG, and members of the Electoral Commission, Controller and Audit General, and PSC. The government will also scrap the colorful Kenya Anti-Corruption Advisory Board that was acting as the EACC advisor. And we were reading about this the other day, and it appears as though only the President is sort of protected, has immunity, but anybody else can be subject, will face the law.
I want to go further.
Okay.
To propose that the president should also be immune after retirement.
Why?
Yeah, don't charge the president because some of the actions he did, you want to charge him when he has no power. Why? If you see, you have a very, very bad constitution. Jamen, mufikirie nyenye. I am Paul from Judea. Don't cry in future.
So the president better be careful now that he's the president so that the law doesn't catch up with him when he's no longer president.
No, anybody can come in and take you.
Because, Doctor, here's the danger with that. President Kenyatta will come and go. We don't know who the president next will be. So we might get somebody else who will be acting out of order. So we have to you have to protect yourself. Yes.
Why do you want to follow him to arrest him?
I don't think anybody will be following
President Kenyatta. It will also be self-defeating to try and give him immunity while he's in power. But later on, carry on those maybe accusations when he's out of power. It doesn't make sense.
Why don't you get the accusations when he's in power? If you have given him immunity when he's in power, give him immunity when he resigns.
When he resigns.
Okay. Like a top player. You can't turn a player. No.
Yes.
No. I have to protect my friend.
Mm-hmm. Your friend has not done anything wrong, I believe, that will
No,
require anybody to take
he
him to
hasn't,
court.
but we have sharks coming.
But we don't know who will come after your friend. That is the danger in that.
Fine.
Because you've
Fine.
not had
Even
problem
that
with,
one-
yeah.
Even that one who will come after my friend
has to be
should
protected.
be given immunity.
Okay. I think we should
All
have this conversation.
presidents of Africa should be given immunity like a Bush. Bush ordered the slaughter of people in Iraq.
Even Paul Biya should be given immunity.
Yeah. Why don't you charge him now?
Because he has immunity as the head of state.
In Britain, we charge you while you are in office.
Okay, and then you step down.
Yeah. Why didn't you charge? Why don't we charge that president? You see why Museveni does not want to leave power.
He should leave
Can I
power.
tell you the secret?
Because he will not have
Hiyo
immunity.
kitu inauma. Naweza kuuma.
I think we will encourage bad leadership in this continent. Should we decide
No.
to go down that
Wait,
route?
Miriam, take
Yes.
it from me.
Yes.
My sister. What Kaunda went through when Chiluba took over power is what makes African presidents not leave power. If Besigye now, Besigye is telling President Museveni that when we get it, you will see. You think President Museveni can leave power?
They're scared.
This younger man, Chagulan, is saying Ugandans versus Museveni. You see that? Who will leave power? Yeah. Who? Museveni to leave for you, then you are telling him you will arrest him. He will not leave. If we are going to treat our president
yes,
the way we treated Mr. Mubarak in a keg, like a dog in a keg, the way we treat Bashir like a dog, Arabs have very bad hearts. Wacha niambie leo, in fact, I forgotten.
But in this country, we respect our former heads of states.
Why do they treat their presidents that way?
Well, but here we don't. Here we respect them. We accorded our late President Mzee Moi.
And I think, Miriam, that should also go to protecting their assets while they are out of power, because
if they are acquired lawfully, then it will be protected. We should not encourage impunity.
Yes.
Because if President Uhuru Kenyatta, I don't think anybody will be seeking to take him to court after he's been president, because he's been trying to operate within the confines.
But in politics,
but we don't know who will come after him. That is the danger. So we cannot give a blanket covering for people who will come in with the intentions of they know they'll have the immunity, so they'll just go and do stuff because they know even after they've stopped being president, they'll be protected.
On this part 2,
yes.
Let's continue tomorrow.
Yes.
With part 2.
Absolutely.
The criminal justice system.
Yes.
Let's interrogate it more, because it looks like all of us have very many burning issues.
Absolutely.
You know, you cannot protect the president when he was in power. Then you fail to protect him. That even a chokora can beat him and he runs.
No, they're protected. Moi Kibaki is very protected. Moi Kibaki is you can't even access. He has the same protection from he used to have.
But now you can.
But if at all he had committed any crimes,
protected.
Yes,
he's protected for security. Yeah. Driving a limousine, going to a restaurant to eat. But if there is anybody,
I've not heard. How long has Moi Kibaki been out of power?
That's why I'm using the word.
Yes.
You have bad friends, like the friends who want to take over from Uhuru Kenyatta. If you have Ichungwa as the Minister of Internal Affairs, Ichungwa Kimani Ichungwa Dindi Nyoro, Moham Chipopefu.
Who? Say that again.
Chipopop something. That small man from Mombasa. That guy will take Uhuru to committee. I'm telling you, they don't like the president. So you must change the law. The president, whoever is doing this amendment, must include that the president must appoint the people he likes. When they serve like go, including Matanga, tunaenda. Wacha Miriam aendelee. Na kazi na mtu mwingine amekuja.
Yes.
That's what normal democracies do. I have not seen Tony Blair's personal assistant working for Boris. I don't see. He's writing his memoirs on the ocean under in Brussels. Wacha tuende sisi na mzee, tutaenda tarehe 22nd August huko. Tutakutana huko mbele Addis Ababa or Commonwealth. Because there is election monitoring. You know, wherever after this, wherever President Uhuru Kenyatta will go, I will also go if I'm alive with election monitoring. We monitor election together. Yeah.
Burundi elections will monitor together.
Yes,
they
Burundi, where I was looking for a plane to go to Tripoli.
And
Did you see?
And do what in Tripoli?
To negotiate.
During that time, yeah.
Yes, there is one African head of state who's putting up a team. And Miriam, I want to tell you officially, I have been included in the team. We were looking for a plane to land in Tripoli.
Haftar might bomb your plane.
No problem.
Joke over there.
You die once. Have you ever seen people who die twice?
They even bombed the AU delegation last year.
Have you ever seen people who die twice?
No, people die once.
Yeah. Betty.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you very much. Viewers, I think for me, I leave the rest. But this other topic is also very important. Do we finish it now? Or we take a break?
We take a break. We take a break. All right. Thank you so much.
It's not a big one.
It is. I think it's and maybe we can do it tomorrow because it requires a lot of time. Yes.
Before we go, I would like just to maybe add weight on that. I think if they're coming up with these proposals, let them also make sure that those ones who also want to seek office, let this law also apply to the elected leaders. Let us not allow people who have dirty feet to walk on our minds into our public offices. Let anyone who has been implicated in any corruption case not be allowed even to reach the ballot box. I think that will be a very good move going forward as we head to the general election in 2022. So let's see if those ones who have been dirty their hands in corruption and not allow them to appear in the next crop of leadership.
All right. Thank you so much.
I don't know why. Can I make one presentation to Dr. Clark, to Mr. Clark? Please, I don't know why, Clark, you think I am against one person. I'm not the one making the law. Miriam has just read a very serious section that has included him.
The amendment bill. That is
maybe that person is so synonymous to corruption.
Johnny Clark is in London. And he's ever harassing me, thinking that I am my friend. You are one of my best.
Is your best friend?
4 years ago.
Yes.
I don't know why you think.
John Clark, hey, be nice to your best friend. He's joking. He's one of our ardent viewers here. John Clark, thank you so much.
Very good
for
ardent
joining
viewers.
us. So, Doctor, on this that we were supposed to look at, maybe because it requires a lot of things here that are quite important, we cannot rush through. So maybe we look at it tomorrow in detail because it's very important that we talk about this. And in case you're wondering what this is the budget that was read last week, and this is the Mwananchi Guide. So a lot of things here that were read and Kenyans might not have understood so much that touches on their lives. It's very important that we look at this when we have time. Yes. So
thank you very much for the purposes of takeaway on this subject, because so that we satisfied the people. We wanted to do the Africa business. The question on the table, Miriam, is to open or not to open. I can do a takeaway.
Absolutely, go ahead.
We close it.
Yes.
So tell your men to be ready.
My men are ready.
Men, yes, tell them.
Production. They're ready, go ahead.
Thank you. Viewers, so many questions linger in Africa today. One of the questions that lingers in every person's mind in Africa is whether to open up or not to open up. But the question is to open up, to go where? The entire world is locked. It's locked down. Dubai is locked. China is producing masks for America. Not enough. Ventilators not enough. Vaccines not got. Goods not moving. Ships not moving. Planes not moving. To open and go where? To open, produce for who? If it's for local consumption, fine. If for export, to where? If we are in Kenya, Uganda has closed its border. No movement of human traffic from Uganda into Kenya. Tanzania has opened its border. No movement of people from Tanzania en masse into Kenya. Somalia border is closed. Now, to open, to go where? The entire world, the aircrafts, the bigger nations, American jets, British jets, have not yet started roaring in the skies of the universe that God created. It is sad, therefore, for people to say to open. Let's open. Open, and we haven't found even one single solution permanent on the disease. It is therefore very important for the people of the world, the people of Kenya, the people of Africa, to understand that this disease needs careful study, careful steps taken by the government to make sure that you don't open too early and then it comes back to haunt you. I just want to finish by saying, let sleeping dogs lie. Kwame Nkrumah told Patrice Lumumba, let sleeping dogs lie. Let's not be haunted by early openings because we want to play golf. But the people carrying the golf sticks stay in areas which are infected by COVID-19. How will you be carrying them? How will you be looking after them? To open, to go where? Which journey, which place is open? I think for me, let's open at an appropriate time when the solutions are there. That is my take this afternoon. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much there, Dr. Matanga. Thank you for that submission, and thank you, Daniel Wasonga. Earlier on, we were looking at the amendments to the anti-corruption laws in Kenya. The new bill before the National Assembly seeks to tighten the noose on the cartels at the state and public officers and to enforce Chapter 6 of the Kenyan Constitution. And this is a conversation that we shall continue with perhaps the next time. My name is Miriam Ogutu. A very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for watching.
Aso.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
I want to begin by first and foremost thanking the African Union and all the African nations for their support and their belief in Kenya being able to advocate the African cause, the cause of Pan-Africanism, the cause of peace, the cause of global solidarity, the call to multilateralism. Kenya's story is one that believes and trusts that together we are stronger. One that believes that through democracy, through respect for human life, and through unity, more can be achieved than individually. We thank the African continent for supporting us in our bid. And we thank all our friends across the world who have joined us and supported us. Today is a day for me personally, on my own behalf and on behalf of the government and the people of Kenya, to assure you that a vote for Kenya is a vote for peace. A vote for Kenya is a vote for global solidarity. A vote for Kenya is a vote for multilateralism. A vote for Kenya is that even the smallest voice shall be heard as the largest and most powerful voice. Let's work together. Let's build global harmony. Let's move forward in our march for peace. Let's move forward in our march for the sustainable use of the resources that our continent, our globe, is endowed with. And let's move forward and ensure that no one is left behind.